Okay. The Boston Celtics win again. What was even the score? That game was kind of wild in the end. 130 to 120. Celtics get the dub. What up, Ardwan? What up, Pete? Good to see you guys. Just finished work, raced through the game to catch up just in time to hang out with you guys. But man, what a fun game. The heart palpitations started to get going a little bit at the end there. I think fake Detroit game, pretty accurate. What did they even end up? 51% from three. They were at like 60% for like half the game on pretty good volume in the end too. 39 threes for the Pistons, 51%. Malik Beasley was pissing me off, dude. Like that was really frustrating. I was just like, can you please fuck right off? Alas, we have Peyton Pritchard. Man, this story, I wasn't sure where it was going to go in the end, who was going to be kind of like the hero at the end, but I guess Peyton Pritchard is just going to continue to be the guy at the moment. No Jason Tatum, no Drew Holiday. I'm very impressed and I'm very happy that Brad Stevens was able to convince Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday to take the night off. Like the game was a lot closer, the final score, than the game actually was. The Celtics had complete control from the jump. They went up by like 14, 15 points right at the beginning of the game. And I thought, this kind of feels like it. This Pistons team's going to have a tough time hanging in there. And they kept the game within arm's reach with that ridiculous three-point shooting. But this Celtics team was too good tonight, man. Like the talent advantage, despite not having Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday, was clearly very evident. We'll start with Pritchard. What up, RJ? What up, everybody in the chat? Good to see you. Hit the like button while you're here. But and we'll be doing late night tonight with Dan Greenberg, Greeny from Barstool Sports as well. So that will be good to dive a little bit deeper into the game and just general Celtic stuff. But Peyton Pritchard, again, when the game was getting a bit tight, it was Malik Beasley hitting nonsense shots. They started to give up a couple of offensive rebounds, and they kind of flipped the script back the other way. You had Derek White forced an extra possession off of a free throw and had an offensive rebound that I think he found for KP on the alley-oop. And Pritchard had two offensive rebounds late in that game that led to points, I'm pretty sure. At worst, it led to more clock being used. Pritchard, what did he end up tonight? It wasn't quite as incredible, which I guess is true. 19 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. The 4 turnovers, he did struggle a little bit early in the game, it felt like. A couple of bad turnovers, but still ends the game with 19 points, 5 boards, 4 assists on 47% field goal percentage and 39% three-point. And he hit the dagger to close it out. Pistons cut it to 5 with 40 seconds to go. Even if the Celtics don't score there, you probably still win just with the clock. But for him to just hit the dagger, he just continues to be the big nuts dude. And it goes, honestly, he didn't play that much in the conference finals and the finals. But you go back to the Cleveland series, he hit a big nuts 3 in every game of that Cavs series. And now 5 games in a row, he has been money in the fourth quarter. He had 19 fourth quarter points in that Bulls game. He was huge, obviously, in this game as well. But yeah, I think look, Antonio, same old. We seem to be unable to put in a 48-minute effort. I think that's true, but I think that that's one of those things where I think you got to look around the league and how many teams are really putting in a playoff effort for 48 minutes. They had complete control against the Detroit Pistons. I'm not really too perturbed. Should the lead have gotten a bit bigger at some point? Sure. The Pistons kept themselves in it with their 3-point shooting. But yeah, man, you win the back-to-back against the Heat. You don't steal this game. You win this game tonight while getting rest for your best player and one of your top 6 players in Drew Holiday. That's a win. It ends up being a 10-point lead, which I do think is actually more indicative of how the game actually was. Pritchard was awesome. Sam Hauser, I think, might be one of the stories of the game. I mean, he clearly is one of the stories of the game. 20 points, 5 for 10 from three, 7 for 12 from the field. He had that beautiful. He got the stop in transition down the other end. Another time he's done this now. The deceleration, left hand finish and one. He was fantastic, man. And what's Pritchard is true. It's true for Pritchard as well. Hauser and Pritchard, I think, if you ask team fans of other teams about those two guys, they're like, oh yeah, really good shooters. Just feeds right into Missoula ball. Pritchard and Hauser are a lot more than just shooters. Obviously, Pritchard has like all of the off the dribble stuff as well that he's been doing, and Hauser's like an elite catch and shoot guy, as is Pritchard. But they legitimately do the dirty work. Peyton Pritchard had 4 offensive rebounds tonight. 4 offensive rebounds for a dude who, let's be honest, he's listed at 6'1", definitely not 6'1". Like last season, he was top 3 of all players, 6'4" and under in offensive rebounding rate. And I'm not sure he's quite there statistically this season, but he'll probably get there by the end of the year, especially with the amount of minutes that he's playing. 34 minutes tonight for Pritchard. But back to Hauser. Really, really, really encouraging to see this performance from Hauser. And he's starting to string together a few really nice performances here. Like, obviously, this is his game of the year so far, unless I'm forgetting one. I'm just looking at his box scores now. Previous to tonight, he had 14 points was his highest. And even in that game was that game against Toronto that they won at the buzzer with Tatum's shot. He was 5 for 12 in that game. He's had a couple of other games where he's had, some, relatively efficient games, 5 for 8, 3 for 6 from 3, but nothing like tonight. And I thought that shout out RJ, appreciate you. And the super chat there. Hauser, clearly they're starting to trust him more from a minutes perspective as well, because he was not playing a ton of minutes. He was out yesterday or the day before for the personal reason. I haven't been online because I've been teaching swimming, so I haven't even been on my phone. I don't know if we found out what the personal reason was for Sam Hauser, but he was back tonight and he looked awesome. And obviously, like, they lost the Cleveland game. He played 36 minutes in that game as well and was 5 for 8 from the field and 3 for 6 from 3. And then in the game against the Clippers, he was 3 for 3. He was 1 for 5 in the win against Chicago. But now he follows that up with a 5 for 10 night. This is the Hauser that we kind of fell in love with all of last season, and especially in the NBA Finals when he was like a monster, playing good isolation defense on Kyrie and Luka while shooting 47% from 3 coming off the bench. That's the dude that we've gotten used to seeing. And I was like, not necessarily worried about the shooting, but the back injury does give you pause, right? And so to see him follow this up with 36 minutes against the Cavs and then 31 minutes tonight, and he hit some big nut shots, like coming off screens, in moments where it felt like they really needed a punch. Hauser was able to give it to them, and we just got so used to getting that from Hauser, where it's like, the other team makes a run, or we start making our own run, and Hauser is just like the finishing move. It's, the other team thinks that maybe they're still in the game or they're coming back, and then Hauser comes in and hits a couple of big shots to give you 20 points on a night like tonight where you don't have Tatum, you don't have Drew. I thought he was awesome, man. Yeah, Hauser was fantastic in the Cavs game as well. His defense is good. He's a good defender, man. He knows where to be. He knows how to move his feet. He knows how to think the game, and he rebounds. He helps you clean the glass. He helps clean those defensive possessions up. Like, absolutely huge. Really impressive game from Hauser, which we'll definitely talk more about later tonight with Greeny. This was Jaylen Brown's chance to kind of take center stage with Jason Tatum out. Does not happen very often, Jason Tatum misses somewhere between 5 and 8 games a year, if you're lucky. So it was the Jaylen Brown show, I thought, for the first half especially. He had 24 points in the first half. I didn't feel like he had a bad second half. He didn't kind of force it. Didn't try and take over in the second half. Definitely missed a couple of shots. He was just ridiculous in that first half. But what I loved about Jaylen, dude, the decision making. There was a couple turnovers late, but for the most part, like, he was running the show. He was getting 2 feet in the paint, forcing help. He was like making really patient, poised decisions. and just finding shooters, and then they were playing out of that. I thought it was really really nice, and the playmaking development that we've seen from Jalen, that we saw from Jalen at the back end of last season, and especially in the playoffs, like little rocky to start the year. I think we can kind of attribute that a little bit to just noise, randomness early in the season, finding your feet, but also that hip injury. So to see Jalen's playmaking, because that's a really big deal for this team. Like, was, that playmaking development that he, showed over the last 2 to 3 months of the season, was that real? There was no reason for me to believe that wasn't real. Like, that's not necessarily something that, like shooting variance, that if you show that for that extended amount of time, usually it holds. And tonight, man, I was so impressed, dude. Really, really poised from Jalen all night long. Yes, got to talk about our guy, the Bear Slayer. Here he is, Kristaps Porzingis, the Bear Slayer, our Latvian Moses. I'm really glad Tatum and Drew rested, and we were vindicated by the Celtics actually winning the game, because we got to see what does Jalen look like with more responsibility. Obviously, it's the Pistons, not a great team, not a bad team. Oh, bad team, not a disgustingly bad team. But you get to see what does a bit of extra usage for Jalen and Hauser and Pritchard and Porzingis look like. Dude, obviously Kristaps gives you 26 points on 17 shots, like 3 for 7 from 3, 7 for 8 from the line, 9 boards. He got involved on the offensive rebounds as well, but absurdly efficient scoring the ball, as he typically always is, and in some tight spots. The classic, get a mismatch, get downhill, get in the post, get to the line, finish over the top. But he had one transition 3 that was just Celtics got to stop, and I forget who found Kristaps on the left wing, but it's just what are you supposed to do with this team, dude? He's just sauntering down the opposing team, 7'2" centers, just making his way down the opposite end of the court, and then he bombs a 29-footer in transition. There's just nothing you can do about that. And then he hits 3 threes tonight, all of which were ridiculous. The range and the spacing that he provides for this team, is incredibly valuable. But all of that to say, his defense is so good, man. And we obviously talked a lot about the Celtics rim protection before he came back, and to see it just immediately be where it's at is so encouraging, because I think there's probably still a bit of juice for him to kind of find as he gets a little bit more comfortable. But man, he just impacts the rim in a way that we don't have, in a way that a lot of players don't, even some of the better rim protectors in the league. He is straight up one of the best, rim presences in the NBA. So when he's giving you that, on top of what he's giving you on the offensive end, there's a reason why we know that when he's healthy, that this team is borderline unbeatable. Unbeatable in a playoff series, especially when everybody's on the court. But even on a night like tonight, okay, Tatum's out, Drew's out. Well, we've got Jaylen Brown goes off for 28. Kristaps Porzingis goes off for 26. Sam Hauser goes off for 20. Peyton Pritchard goes off for 19. Derek White goes off for 14. Al Horford goes off for 14. I haven't even mentioned him. And don't forget, Luke Cornett also had 9. We almost had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in double figures almost. We should have had 7 because Luke Cornett blew a bunny. Insane. Are we arguing about something in the chat? Am I missing here? Sorry, I can't. It's hard for me to keep track of the chat solo, but I see some Jordan Walsh stuff here. But Luke Cornett, man, he was fucking awesome tonight, and he's on a really, really good stretch as well. I wrote a little bit about him for Celtics blog. Uneven start to the season, he's absolutely found his footing now on both ends. Another 2 blocks and 2 steals tonight, following up the Miami game where he had 6 blocks. He's playing like the guy that I thought we were going to get coming into the season, and he's finding his groove, finding his rhythm. Really encouraging. And then weird kind of rotational stuff with Drew Peterson and Jordan Walsh. Did Drew Peterson just get the 1 stint? Was it the 3 minutes, or was it 2 stints at 90 seconds apiece? I feel like it may have been the latter. Walsh played 6 minutes. Walsh is kind of disappointing me at the moment. He's just so hesitant. If you're going to be out there, there was definitely 1 or 2 possessions where the ball swung to him with like 7-8 seconds on the shot clock, and I'm just used to someone on the Celtics shooting those shots. And he just kind of threw a grenade, not a grenade, but just he forced someone else to make a play with 6 seconds on the clock. He had a slither of space. I would have loved to see him just take the shot or drive it, man. Just be aggressive. You're out there because Joe trusts you. Like, give it a go. I think defensively he was fine. I don't think that either Drew Peterson or Jordan Walsh really played enough for really me to push this, make this, one direction or another, negative or positive for who they are or who they're going to be. But yeah, not loving what I've seen from Walsh lately, which makes me sad as co-owner of Walshy Island. But Horford, monster, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 4 for 6 from 3. He had a couple of nasty blocks. Oh, I forgot to even mention, you got the Luke Cornett, we're cooking up moment as well. He's fantastic. Look, all around fantastic game. Like, just a business-like. Celtics are a lot better. Sure, I got a little bit close at the end, but now we can sit here and be like, that was kind of fake. The Pistons shot 50+% from 3 on good volume too for a team that does not typically shoot like that. 35% on the season, I believe. But yeah, tonight we'll be back, Greeny, myself, late night, talk about the game, zoom out a little bit, and look forward to the schedule, stuff like that. But yeah, man, another nice win. What are the Celtics now? 18-4? It's pretty good, guys. 18-4, 18 divided by 22, 81% winning percentage. So that is a 66.42 win rate. 66 wins sounds pretty good. We'll take it. Everybody, good to see you. Talk soon. We'll be back tomorrow for some other type of, we'll do probably an Eastern Conference thing. Might do a Bucks preview, try and get Nathan Marzion back on the show. But pleasure to see you all. And until next time, if I can find the outro, go Celtics.